I spent some time looking on the internet at some free patterns and just modeled my own pattern after them. So the finished stocking needed to be about a foot long, and that's pretty much exactly how this one turned out. The widest point of the stocking, it's over 6 inches, and at the narrowest part, it's about 4.5 inches. So it's roughly 5 inches wide. When I traced my pattern, I actually ended up making it a little bit longer on the top. And I would have made this pattern even longer to account for more room for error. Just the paper I was using, this poster board wasn't wide enough for that. So I just set it back on the fabric and ended up drawing it out a little bit further. So the trick to the curly toe stocking, from what I read, and this is the first one I've ever made, so hopefully it gets better as these progress, but you don't need to make the lining have the curly toe. So when I traced this pattern onto the gold fabric, and this is the shiny side is in, these haven't been sewn together yet, I traced it and didn't do the whole curly toe and just rounded it off. And when you're sewing your two sides together, you sew all the way around and come to a point, and then when you fold it right side out, it's easier if you use like a pen or something sharp to kind of, I don't know what the right term is, but to unfold it all the way so that it has that nice tip at the end. And then you have to stuff it with a little bit of stuffing. And instead of buying stuffing, I made my own just by using this excess fabric from the pattern that I cut out and just chopping it into tiny little pieces. To make this little stocking cuff, I eyeballed this shape and just made it, approximately the same width, and traced with a marker onto some green felt, and then also that same shiny gold fabric. And then these are pinned together with the outsides in, and I'll sew all the way around and leave about this much space for turning it back right side out, and then finishing off that stitch and attaching it onto the stocking once this lining has been added. For the lining, you will sew it inside out and keep it, in my case, shiny side in or print side in, and then insert the lining into the stocking. So I do my best to line up the seams with each other, the seam of the inner lining with the seam of the stocking, and I made my stocking a little bit longer than the lining. I fold it over once and then fold it over again, and then I sew it around like that. So this time around, I'm gonna do something I didn't do last time, which is trim down the excess. The two sides didn't meet up perfectly, and anyway, the less bulk there is, the more of a point this will come to on the stocking. I turned it out and used a pen to poke the points down, which I will turn in and sew shut. So when I sewed the lining on, this seam kind of came out a little bit funky, but that's okay because it will be covered up with this piece here. Lastly, I'll use some fun glittery elastic to make a little loop. And there you have it, 2 curly-toed stockings with fun glittery gold lining. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.